Have you ever felt overwhelmed with all that's going on in the world? Sometimes we don't realize that we can make a difference. My name is Debbie Van Grieken, and it is my hope to inspire you to take small steps towards social impact. Join us each week as we have conversations with those who have taken simple steps towards living a more sustainable and socially conscious lifestyle. If you want to make social impact, let's start small. The Small Steps podcast is proudly sponsored by Moya Shea Products. As a listener, enjoy 15% off your online purchase. Use code SMALLSTEPS15 at checkout. At Moya, we believe in people helping people. Supporting the local and global communities that help our organization succeed is very important to us. We apply a fair trade framework when purchasing raw materials, supporting farmers and families. Thinking global and acting local, Moya works with organizations to better the lives of children through education and fair trade. Are you looking for the best moisturizer for beautiful, healthy, glowing skin? Our Shea products are superb moisturizers and have exceptional healing properties for those suffering from skin issues. Check out these products and our wellness line at moyasheabutter.com. Welcome back to the Start Small podcast. I'm your host, Debbie Van Grieken, and today I'm excited to be talking with Chantel Carter. She's an entrepreneur who has worked in the fashion industry for over 20 years as a stylist, image consultant, and magazine style director. She's also a part of the Centennial College Fashion Program Advisory Committee, which helps to inspire programs with relevant learning and training beneficial to industry practices. Chantel's passion to uplift women of color through fashion has caused her to develop a diverse skin tone intimates line called Love and Nudes. This brand is more than just fashion. It's a social movement, connecting women and celebrating the beauty of difference. She believes apparel and cosmetics should be accessible to all in a manner that allows them to celebrate their skin tone and personal style. Please welcome Chantel. Hi, Chantel. It's so wonderful to have you here today.
Oh, it's so wonderful to be here, Debbie. It's great to see you again.
You're in Toronto, is that correct?
Well, I am not. I was in Toronto, but
Okay.
now I live in Belleville. I'm staying in Belleville, transitioning.
Nice. Wow, wonderful. We
Yeah.
actually met in Toronto, though, a few months ago
Yes.
at a Grow Your Biz meeting. And I was so impressed with what you were doing. And I just really wanted to have you on the podcast because I just knew that our listeners would love to hear your story. So you have to please share with us, like, what was that aha moment or what inspired you to start this?
I think I had many aha moments. Well, because I remember like just I was a stylist, and just to make a long story short, I worked in fashion. I was entrenched in fashion most of my life, but I really noticed when I was working in fashion. I was entrenched in magazines and fashion shows like Fashion Television. There was a show called Fashion Television. There was a show called Fashion File. I used to watch them like religion every
Right.
week. And every time they talked about nude trends, um, it didn't include my skin tone color.
Right.
And I knew what it was. It's like, well, I want the same looks, but I couldn't achieve that. And then there's a functional piece to it. When you have nude, nude was always marketed as beige, and but it's not the whole picture. It's only part of the picture. Nude
Right.
is a person's the wearer's skin tone color, but only beige was being sold in
Right.
stores. So um it was really difficult to see that, because when the models, if a dark model would come in at a photo shoot that I was working on, because I was the wardrobe stylist on there, she doesn't have that option to have nude undergarments like the white model did.
Right.
So, and that's really important when you're modeling, because it's like you don't want your undergarments to show through the
Mm-hmm.
clothing. So you need something that matches your skin tone. So that was like an aha, like subconscious aha moment. Like, what's going on here?
Right. Like representation. Like people
Yeah.
want to see themselves being represented in the advertisements and stuff too. And you just weren't seeing that.
Well, it was not just that. It was that, but it's just like, well, actually, and there's no there, in addition, there's not a product that looks like me either. So it goes deeper and deeper and
Mhm.
deeper. So that was an issue for me. At first, it was just because I wanted to wear fashion the way I wanted to wear. I wanted new shoes because I knew what that meant and what the look would be, but I just didn't have that option, or I had to do like backflips to achieve it.
So I think I even did you not tell me once that you were, like, actually, like, dyeing the fabrics and, like, coloring them yourself and
Yep.
yeah, that's the
Yeah,
backflips.
that's the black flip.
Yeah.
I bought a white bra and panty, one day, and I found fabric paint in, like, Michael's, or maybe it was even Walmart or something, and I, found something close to my skin tone color, and I painted it. And then I went back and got the different skin tone colors of humanity as best as I could, and I made them some.
Wow.
I painted that too. And I just did it. I did it for myself first because it's like I wanted to wear the thing. I wanted to wear lace. I remember I was sick and tired of not being able to wear lace and have it
Right,
look like it was my skin showing through.
right.
So that prompted me to paint that bra so I could do that.
Amazing. And so this must have, kind of like, started that process going of like how to get this product actually made. So tell us a little bit about that because it's a really cool story. So you're actually getting this product made and where is it being made? What's describe that kind of process for us.
Okay, wow. Well, that process happened. My first collection was made in South America. And that process happened by actually telling the right people, asking the right people for information or for a direction. So I asked another successful woman in the same space, in the intimate space, and she pointed me to a group, it was called MSH District, and stands for Make Shit Happen.
Love it. Love it.
And they were it was what do you call it, incubator that helped people bring their fashion products to life, and I was so blessed to be connected to them, so because that's what got the process started. And because I was in that space, I found out about the Columbia Board of Trade, right? And through that, and that's how, connecting with the Board of Trade, they were able to let us know that there was like conferences over there, eh, like in South America, and help us to get there, like funding part of the trip
Wow.
for people to go, and because they want us to do business there. So, and that's how I connected with my manufacturers at a trade show. Everything fell in line after looking and looking for a few days. It's like I found a company that had the right aesthetic, what
Mhm.
I was looking for, and then the cherry on top is that they were women owned.
Right.
So that I lost my mind when I saw that. I was like, okay, I'm supposed to connect with these.
Yeah, and I definitely wanna get into that because you're completely female-led, your supply chain is female-led. So how has that impacted the success of your business? Or is it been challenging as well?
Yeah, it's both.
Mhm.
You know, it's I don't know, do I start out with the challenge or the good stuff? What do you want?
It's all good in the end, whether it's good or bad, we
Yeah.
learn something from it, right? So whatever you want.
For sure, for sure. Well, okay, I'll start with the good stuff, or like the really positive stuff. Um, I was shown a different side to business that I feel that could really be impactful on all of us. I saw kindness, generosity, being treated like family. And it wasn't our relationship was not transactional. They were so genuine, I was almost suspicious. It sounds terrible to say, but it's true. I was like, "Well, what's going on here? Is this a setup for a scam?" You see
Right.
where my mind went, right?
Well, but I
But
think
yeah,
that, we've been programmed that way too, right? It's because you
yeah,
don't traditionally get that kindness in business transactions necessarily, in the past, and hate to say it, but with sometimes with men as well, there's always, that.
something, right?
Yeah,
Like some kind of
exactly.
shadiness going on, but I guess
Yeah.
this is the thing, they were women. So it goes back to that too. They were
Well, it
women.
goes back to even the fact that that woman that connected you was in the same space as you, and she could have viewed you as a competitor, but she didn't. She wanted to help you, she collaborated with you, she pointed you in the right direction, and I think that you get a lot more of that when you're dealing with women.
I think so too. And but in the media in general, or what we see in film and television for the most part is women being competitive
Right.
with each other and tearing each other down.
Well, and that's our media, they pit women against each other, right? We see that in celebrity romances, we see that, in the royals when they pitted, Kate and
Yeah,
Meghan against
Megan
each
against
other, and
Kate, and
yeah, exactly, like, I think that they feed off of that, and then that's what's portrayed, and it's so not true in so many cases.
yeah, but it's so
Mhm.
influential. That's the power of media, and when it's used irresponsibly, this is what
Right.
happens. Like,
Exactly.
images are portrayed that are not actually true,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah,
So it's like, that's why we really have to watch what we consume.
I agree.
Totally. So they were
Yeah.
like they were like, yeah, they were so kind. They introduced me to so much. They treated me like family. And these are like, they were worried about my son when my because my son had come with me, but he'd gone off in the day to go look at something, and she was like freaking out, like, I worried. It's like, don't worry.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so it was in that way, it was a beautiful experience, and we were very aligned, right? Because they spoke a different language, but we've read some of the same books. So I was like,
Mhm.
okay, I'm signing up for like with these people, with these women. So that was like super positive, like a lot of feminine energy, and I mean that in a position of strength.
Mhm.
That's what when I look back at that period, that's what I see, because they were the in a sea of men, because that's a very male dominated society. So these women who took the step to do this in a male dominated like area, like, was meat for me is like, okay, I have to connect with them, because that this can't be easy here.
Right. And we see that a lot in, especially, working in, developing communities, where the women are the leaders, and the men are kind of traditionally, in charge, and have that leadership role, but it's the women that are actually the ones making things happen. And I see that in the community I work with in, Uganda, how important it was for us to get the women their own bank accounts, because we were paying the women. We weren't paying the men, we're paying the women to do the work, and so making sure they had access to,
I
bank
love
accounts and things
that.
like that, and really it's so empowering for them, because they when a woman has a bank account, they have, a voice. They
Yes.
have a voice of where the money's going, how the money's gonna be spent, and in places like Uganda and South Americas and stuff, women are able to, if they have that access to money and bank, their access to credit, they're able to get property. There's just it's such a snowball effect, and stuff that we kind of take for granted when we don't realize. But that was one of the foundational, principles for us, was making sure that the women were actually, set up to succeed and to be able to move forwforward and
I
and
love
have that.
that.
Mhm.
You see, this is what I want to it's so funny how, like, everything is showing up, because it's like, this is like, these are the things when you talk about sustainability too, or, um, like, that word is thrown around a lot, right?
Mhm.
But it's like, well, what does it really mean, right?
Right.
And I feel like that's a piece of it too. You're not just saying, okay, well, I'm gonna go there and I'm gonna do you took it and which is great. You go to a country where women are and you support them by giving them the work. But I love the depth of
Exactly.
well, how are they gonna get the money? Because I feel I don't think I would have thought of that.
Yeah, and I think that that's, really what we need to start thinking about when we talk about sustainability. The whole point is that when if we're out of the picture, have you created a sustainable project that they're going to keep being able to do over and
Move
over and over, right?
forward,
Which is
whether you're dead, gone,
exactly,
whatever, someone else takes over,
exactly. So
you've
it's
empowered them to be able to figure stuff out and
right.
to have a direction to go into.
Yes.
I love it.
And being able to work with other people and know, they now have a baseline of how they've been treated, so they know, they start to recognize if someone's coming in and trying to take advantage of them, because they're like, wait a minute, no, I get paid 50% upfront and 50% upon completion. That's
The
fair.
agreement. Yeah.
That's what fair is. So when somebody comes in and says, you know, "We'll buy from you, but we're gonna pay you 30 days after you've given us the product," well, they need that money to make the product in a lot of cases too, right? So then this is a because traditionally that's how business is done. So fair trade is different. We're doing things differently. We recognize that there's material costs that need to be purchased up front, things like that. And so then this gives them that baseline of, okay, when I'm dealing with other people, how do I get treated? Right.
Right. I
Yeah,
love it.
so it's amazing. So I love that you're just, again, you're doing this too. You're working with people, you're collaborating, and you've got this strong female role models. And I know that your collection is all named after women. I want you to tell us about that.
Well, okay. Yeah, it actually is. Because it's like my first collection, I'm on my second collection. My first bra is called Amanda, and the panty is called Janati. And these were two young women, two young Black women. Actually, one was I think kind of more of Indian descent, or maybe she was mixed with Black and Indian. Anyway, so and they just inspired me. They've been through so much. They were so young and they did so much in their young life. Like one, Amanda was like a poet, and I know she went through so much difficulty, and just the way she moved and the things that she did to change her life,
Mhm.
inspired me to name that bra after her. And plus she was part of the collective of women that helped me to design the bra, because I never
Amazing.
wanted to make anything without the input of my audience.
Absolutely.
Yeah, of my followers and the people I'm making it for. So it was very fitting. And the same thing with Janati. Yeah, she was a young woman that um, wrote a book. I was like, I can't believe it. She wrote a book when she was 18, and
Oh, wow.
yeah, she was just beautiful and her skin was highly melanated and she just glowed. So I named the panty after her. And my latest collection, it's made in Canada this time, so it's made locally. Is named after more strong women in my life. Um, Everything was made in Montreal, so it's a full circle. I'm born and raised in Montreal. So I've
Wonderful.
come back home with this collection, and it's named after powerful women in my life that are from Montreal.
Amazing.
Yeah, so my one's named after my mom, that's the Linma, crossover bra. The, Devi hipster. Devlin is I call her Debbie, that's my cousin, my sister cousin.
Right?
And the Natasha High Rise, right? That's my Natasha's my soul sister. We're all born and raised in Montreal.
Awesome. Oh, what
Yeah,
an honor for them.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's
It
amazing.
is, yeah. It's like they do so much for me too, so I just wanted to encourage and, show them how much they mean to me in this
Aw.
collection, and it just all kind of went together.
Aw, that's so nice. All
Mhm.
right, we've been talking about all the niceties and how wonderful business is, but let's face it, this last 2 years has been a challenge, and there has to be, some challenges that you're facing even as you grow. I know you're doing, some wonderful things and you're growing. You're in a great, spot right now, but I know that is not an easy ride. So, there's a lot of, younger women who are maybe listening to this right now, wanting to start businesses or have started businesses themselves
Mhm.
and might be feeling a little discouraged. So, talk a little bit about the challenges that you've been facing and, maybe some advice that you have for some other young women entrepreneurs.
Okay, in my experience, oh, sorry, I should have put that on silent. Um, I realized that the biggest challenge was me. The challenge of me getting out of my own way. So I would, really, like, highly recommend, sooner or later having a mentor or a coach to either or an accountability group, something,
Mhm.
mastermind to, hold you accountable or for you to bounce ideas off of, because it's like, it's really important to be connected to other people. So the challenge of, the last couple of years too was being like isolated
Isolated.
and then having to do everything online. Sometimes I was
Mhm.
screen tired, even though,
Right.
it was better than nothing. It's like after a while, it's like, yeah, if I have to look at a computer again, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna stab
Right.
my eyes out, right? Got
Yeah.
that it got that dramatic. But, but the connection really helps. So all around, right? Having a mentor and people to lean on in your community that are doing the same things that you're doing or have a business or who are ahead of where you want to be is essential.
And I'm definitely gonna put in the show notes a link to the Grow Your Biz boards that we're both a part of. We're both on separate boards, but these, boards are all over, Canada. Actually, it's
Yeah,
international.
it's international,
Yeah,
right?
it's
Yeah.
international, and, it's like having an advisory board of women, from all different, types of businesses, but they act as your board of directors, so they can help with, situations that come up or challenges. They can help, connect you to, resources that you need, and I know for myself, it's been, really, wonderful having that and like you say, kind of, you become family, right? When
Yeah,
you come with these
totally,
boards, like
totally. I remember, like, during COVID, I was thinking, "Oh my gosh, I'm gonna have to cut that off because that's gonna be another expense," right? But
right.
it's like, I'm so happy I decided to stay because it's like, "No, actually, this is when I need it the most."
Exactly, exactly, and yeah, so the challenges, I mean, we were talking a little bit before we, hit record, and we were definitely talking about all those challenges that were coming up, and, I think we were both being encouraging, but you were being super encouraging to me as well, just not giving up because I guess that's my advice to some, of the listeners there too, is these challenges are gonna happen, and so much gets kinda thrown at you, but, um, you know, you're never failing unless you quit. So, just don't quit. You just got to keep going and something will
Yeah.
happen and you'll be connected with somebody else and yeah, cuz I got to tell you it's been exhausting these last 2 years and all of the different challenges and just trying to push through some of that and still trying to figure out what the future is going to look like. So, what do you see in the next 5 years for your business? Where do you hope to be?
Um, I hope to be Love and Nudes to be a household name in the wellness and fashion space, like creating that a particular niche that with a line of products that serve the needs of different communities, of my community and different communities. But yeah, so I'm really, really looking forward to getting to that, the journey towards that. And who knows, it may curve again, but that's what I'm looking at the
Right.
moment. Yeah.
That's awesome. Now, I'm going to have in the show notes all of your links and how to get in touch with you. Before I go into my last question, why don't you just share with us, though, where, like, what your website is and the best place to contact you if people want to reach out to you?
Sure. So my website is loveandnudes.com. So obviously www.love, LOVEANDNUDES.com. And I guess social media,
Yeah. So you have an
Instagram
Instagram.
at Love and
Yeah.
Nudes is Instagram. I
Awesome.
do have Facebook at Love and Nudes as well. And yeah, I think that's where I spend most of the
Most of your
time.
time. Perfect.
Instagram
So I'm
for
gonna have all that linked
in
there
the
so
show
people
notes.
can,
Yeah,
reach out to you if they have any questions or if they wanna check out your collections and make
please do
purchases.
support the collection made
Yes,
locally and made by women for amazing women.
it's awesome. So just for my last question, I always like
Mhm,
to ask people,
mhm.
and you can talk about your personal life or your business, just some small steps that you've taken to be, living a more sustainable and fair life. I mean, one of the things that we always talk about here is these are overwhelming topics, and a lot of our listeners, they're new to this kind of lifestyle of starting to think about sustainability and how they can make a difference. And so I always like to encourage people that it can be small steps. It doesn't have to be this big thing, but if we do all these small steps, it can make a difference. So if there's anything that you've been doing in your personal life or within your business to kind of, be more sustainable, cut waste, be more environmental or things like that, share with us.
Oh yeah, holy. Well, one thing that I've seen and noticed is like I'm focusing on what's in season for like when I'm eating.
Right.
It's cost effective, I find, and it's better for the environment. And because now I'm actually living on a land where we are growing things. So that's a
Nice.
big thing. So I won't expect anybody to do that, but I'm saying at least focusing on what's in season, learning about that to just be more connected to where your food's coming from.
Right. Yeah, we live on a property as well where we're able to grow our own food, and we talk about that in the podcast as well. And we've had some organic farmers on and things like that too. So
I
it's
love that.
wonderful. Yeah, wonderful to and we've talked about how you don't even have to have the property. You can do that from your own apartment as well. There's different ways that you can grow some of your own herbs and some small vegetables right on your balcony or inside your home. So that's a really good tip for people. And I know that fashion is it's a tough one because fast fashion is obviously not great for our environment. But I know that you're working hard to look at the types of materials you're using and lowering your waste so that there's not as much going to landfill. So I do appreciate all of the work that you're doing and the research and the changes, and nobody's perfect. And same with my business. When I discover something that's maybe not being the best, that's an opportunity to make a change and a difference. So I just love what you're doing. I'm so excited to see where you end up, and I hope we can keep in touch. And I'm really just wanting to thank you for taking the time out and share with us your journey through this.
Oh, well, it's my pleasure, Debbie. You darn right I'm gonna keep in touch with you. It's like I'm gonna hunt down that shea butter
Oh, yes, yes. Well, I
like
know
a
you
thief in the
liked it,
night
so
to
I was
find
really
you for
happy about
that.
that.
Okay. Thank you
Okay,
so
great.
much for
Thanks so
having me
much.
on.
I'm hoping that you have a great day.
You too.
Thanks. Thank you for listening to Start Small. I hope you enjoyed today's episode and found a small step you can take today. Make sure you share it with a friend. And if you have not done so yet, make sure you hit the subscribe button. And if you are enjoying this podcast, consider taking a moment and leaving us an honest review in your Apple Podcasting app so more people can be inspired to take small steps towards social impact.